Hello, and welcome back to the weekly Oracle card reading with Kylie Savage Psychic Medium. Thank you for showing up to receive your special prescription for how to best work with the universal energies that will be present this week. Now, I'm talking about the week from the 30th of November to the 6th of December 2019. We're into a very exciting part of the year. Coming up the last month in the year, some of the last astrology too. We just had our new moon in Sagittarius. I wish you new moon blessings for that. We'll have a full moon coming up soon. The last one is on the 12th of December in Gemini. And then we have the last new moon for the year, will be the 26th of December to new moon in Capricorn. I think that's going to be fantastic to, launch us into 2020. If you are looking for a little bit of extra clarity and to receive some further insights and information just for today, I'm still running my special offer, which is a psychic one question reading, and it's for 55 Australian dollars. Please get in touch with me via email. It's kyliesavagepsychic@gmail.com, and I'll put my email in the comments so that you can book that in. I'm winding up all of my work. I finish work by December, I think it's the 19th. Kylie's Oracle Club will finish then, and all my readings will finish for the year. I'm going to be a very busy person over December and January. I have lots of things coming up for 2020, and you can now sign up for my email list. So if you would like to get on my email newsletter list, you can go to my Facebook page, and there is a welcome and sign up form. And if you fill that form out, you'll go onto the email list. If not, get in touch with me via email and I will add you to the list. I'll be giving that list a lot of love. There'll be lots of special offers, some giveaways, things like that. And I will also be using the newsletter to be doing some teaching. Okay, let's get into it. We have 4 cards from the Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron-Reid. And our first card, the anchor card, is the Fates in Protection. Then we have our next right action card to take, which is No Place Like Home. And then our third card, our Future Possible Outcome card, one of my complete favorites in this deck, is Poised. Okay, and then the fourth card, the Details card, giving us more of the story, is Regeneration. I actually really like to see this card. This whole spread is amazing. If you can see it, it's full of beautiful greys and greens and blues. All right, I have pulled a guide card, and I'm not sure if I'm saying this right. It's Skuld or Skuld from the Goddess Power Oracle, also by Colette Baron-Reid, and it's the future. So exciting, this deck. Really loving it. And then from the Nature's Whispers Oracle by Angela Hartfield, we have Assurance. Not sure if you can see there, but there's all the 4 seasons in this card. Excellent. Okay. I wasn't sure now. This is about my 4th take. I wasn't sure what I've said and what I haven't said about astrology. If you're interested in the astrology that we've just had or that's coming up, please get in touch with me. Okay, the Fates in Protection. Now, some readers don't read their cards reversed. They only read them upright because they believe that, as they're reading the card, that Spirit channel the message for them and cover it. Colette always encourages us to read the cards in the position they come out in. And she talks about the cards being in protection or being in alignment or being a challenger. I really like how she doesn't just say they're reversed. For the Good Tarot, she didn't have any of the cards come out reversed, and they just have an affirmation that go with them. I do have the Good Tarot, don't use it enough. Okay, the Fates, when it's this way, it's all about the serenity prayer. So God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I take notes before I do the reading. So I ask my question, I shuffle my cards, I pull them out, put them all face down, and then as I turn them over and I see the story in motion, I take notes. And what I heard when I pulled this card out was, I'll just get my notes again, don't fight the future. Also, when I look at the cards, it's, of course, they're going to be influenced by me and what's going on in my life and what's going up around my head. And I may ask one question, but I often find that the other things that have been floating around in my mind, especially whilst I'm shuffling or pulling the cards out, the answers to those things will come out in the spread as well. And that's the message that I feel, is that there is some stuff going on in the world right now. We do. We live in the most amazing and incredible times, and also the most extreme times. And we can really feel like things are out of our hands. And Colette has a saying, which I totally agree with and I love. She said that we live our lives between two pillars: life on life's terms and co-creating our life with the divine. And the Fates message is about acceptance and surrender. And what I'm feeling is like there are so many views about the future out there. And it's very easy to buy into alarmist views and, people's scare tactics and people, who think of the general public as sheep and who want to hurt us this way or that, and they count on us being afraid. They count on us being super anxious and panicking and not really, using our logic or our intuition and making really good decisions. Now, you have to be blind, Freddie, to not understand and see the polarization that is coming through the world these days. You give me any topic. There are people on the extreme left of that, people on the extreme right, and the middle ground is fast disappearing. And I just see that that's all part of the process. Every one of us is an evolving soul. Remember, stasis is an illusion. It doesn't exist. We are either devolving or evolving. And the Fates are saying we need to surrender to the things that we cannot change. And even though things out there can be frightening and challenging and extreme, Mother Earth is absolutely chucking hissy fits all over the place. She's changing dramatically, and we're just like these little crabs on the beach with no shelter, saying, what the, where are we going to go? What's going to happen? And we're being panicked. And that is just one view we can hold of the future. And I'm not discounting people's experiences. For myself, my anxiety has been extreme lately. It really has. And I'm finding it really challenging, to find my center and to use the tools in my tool bag, to manage my anxiety and to just stay in the present moment. So the Fates are saying, like, we don't know. There are all these things out there, all these views and ideas and opinions and all these alarmist views or, airy-fairy views, whatever, between the two extremes. And it's very difficult to picture a future which is really good or is very different from what we're being offered, from the media, from the scientists, from popular fiction, from social media, from all the rest of it. But the Fates are saying, yes, bad things do happen to good people, and we need to not take it personally. We need to understand the times that we live in. They are tumultuous. Everything's in a highly charged state of flux, and yet that doesn't mean, we need to lose faith or trust in the future. We need to develop more faith and trust, and we need to understand that there are things going on which are completely out of our control. There will be nothing that we can do about these things. Yet we can always do something about ourselves. I wrote down the quote, there's one corner of the universe that you can always change, and that's your own self. If I remember where I found that from, I'll put that in the comments too. But the Fates are saying, I really feel like the message with the Fates and protection is it's okay. Even though it seems like it's not okay, we really are okay, and all is well, and we don't need to panic. That's what I'm feeling. And the way to not panic, I'm I was just looking at it again. Yes, is just looking at my notes. The way to not panic is to keep the focus on ourselves, on the one corner of the universe we can do something about. Um, when there was the Texas floods, I think it was the Texas floods in America, people were saying, don't look for the helpless, look for the heroes, because whenever disaster strikes, there they are. It's so true in Australia. Like the East Coast, I look at the fires near me out, it's just blue. So all these triangles are blue and they're fires, and you stretch the map out, and which thank you, New South Wales Fire, for providing that map. And it just looks like the east coast of Australia is on fire. And that's crazy. Most people in Australia live on the east coast. It has more rainfall than anywhere else, that, as far as I know, more moderate weather than anywhere else. You're going into Queensland, we have tropical rainforests and things in Queensland, and it's right on the coast. And you can see all our rain we've been getting is out to sea. We have been getting some rain. But it's kind of scary, But the thing is, in these times of trouble, we've got koalas being wiped out. I'm a big bird watcher and big bird fan, and we've got, birds, really rare, threatened, endangered species like the Regent bowerbird. Their homes are being wiped out. So we need to keep the focus on our home, on ourselves, on our corner of the universe, and take positive action. We also need to understand that our safety and security is here with us and with our spiritual connection, with our trust and our faith in our higher power. So yes, there are things that are out of our control. Yet what is in our control? What is in our basket? I've been donating 10% of all my income since I think last month, and I'll keep doing that. To Dili Drought Drive. Now, they've been sending water to the farmers around here. Well, I used to live in a beautiful green, shire, which is beautiful green hills and bush and rivers and dams and creeks. And, our dams are well below 40%. And I'm like, I said to Rod the other day, when you don't have water, like, you see those water trucks come around giving you water, where did they get the water from? And I'm like, how does that work? Do you take out a bucket? You see these scenes in third world countries. You don't expect it to happen, very close to Sydney in Australia, one of the most developed nations in the world. And we're also the driest continent in the world, and we really need to look at our water management. Okay, so No Place Like Home is an empowering card because it's saying, yes, there are things going on, really scary, dangerous, disastrous things going on. Yet there is something we can do. We can look after our own home. We can make sure, we're being in accordance with everybody. We've got our fire plans, all the rest of it. You might get extreme weather in the Northern Hemisphere. Often, they get really bad snowstorms and blizzards and floods and things like that. So look after your neighbourhood too. Look after your neighbours, look after your community, and see, the change that you want to be in the world. Like Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. Look at where you could change things. What is it you could do? And what can you do to feel safe and secure? So do those things. And poised is, I just feel like, we've come through times where we feel so disconnected from everyone. So we've got 150 Facebook friends and not one real friend. People can be lonelier than ever. I feel like it's all turning around, and these natural disasters and financial crises, all these things we go through, it's rebuilding our communities from one person to the next, right down at the grassroots, which is always where the best communities grow from, not from these top-down structures. Everything's being revolutionised. We're starting to see how interconnected all life is. I drink a plastic straw here, a turtle sucks it up over there. That everything we do can make differences in the lives of others and the living things around us. So poised, I really feel like in this position with these cards is saying we are poised right on the cusp of massive changes for the good. I really like the feeling that comes through with that, because my vision, and it's very important to have vision right now, my vision for the future is, what if we are all just here to learn, and we will be given the time, the space, the resources to take that learning as far as we desire to take it? And, like, things could go right to the pinnacle's edge, right to the knife's edge. Yet we are poised to make these massive changes and to experience that true evolution of our souls, to build these amazing communities. I grew up in a church which talked about the millennium, and they talked about a new earth. And I remember being very young, having this vision, saying, to my parents, "Where's this new earth come from?" It's like, well, it comes down from heaven and it lands on earth. And I'm like, but the vision I've always connected with is that we make the new earth here ourselves. And, I've listened to other people that said, all the world's problems can be solved. Within every problem is the key to the solution. So I feel like we are poised in the most fantastic way to bring about revolutionary change at all levels of life, all across the globe. And we're coming together more and more strongly to see that vision unfold. And I keep feeling too, this is something I heard a long time ago and it stays with me. What if everything is perfectly imperfect? What if it looks like a disaster and a mess, and yet it's part of the process? And, other parts of me are like, okay, well, I'm an infinite immortal soul, which is really difficult to come to terms with when you're in a flesh and bone body, So no matter what happens to this planet, I won't end. I don't end. You don't end. Something that's infinite means no ending. So perhaps, it goes beyond this planet. And I just feel like we need to have, more than the sci-fi movies and the horror movies and the dystopian, disastrous visions for the future. We need to connect in and say, what is the vision that we see for the future? What is the best, most possible outcome here? How can we be a part of that change now, today? What can we do right now to be a part of this? And I really feel like spirit don't bullshit. So I really feel like we are poised here. And, that every decision we make now is kind of critical, and it adds towards our vision of the future or towards somebody else's. So I feel good about this, I really do. And if you knew me, you would know that that's not so easy for me to do. I am an eternal optimist. I'm learning how to be a realistic optimist. I am. Regeneration means it's massive changes, absolutely massive, like I've been talking about. Yet there's new growth. And this is like the Phoenix card. If you were to see Spirit Animal Oracle, any other decks that have the Phoenix card, this is the Phoenix card in Woto. This is us rising from the ashes. But I mean, it's almost complete destruction. Pardon me. And the amazing thing about life is, like, even thinking about the bushfires, is I've seen places burnt, anything, burnt beyond recognition, like a moonscape. And then, you get a little bit of rain and the grass starts to shoot back up. And I've been following Denise Lynn's story. She lives in Northern California at Star Mountain Ranch. And she talked about the fires came right to her doorstep, literally. The cat, survived by being under the steps or something. And now, she's filming deer back on her property and ravens and, fish in the dam. And, that was the most extreme fire. And she's seeing the return of life. A lot of people talk about the fires as cleansing. And look, some people are out there and going, oh my God, and I haven't seen these places. I don't know what it's like. I know when you lose things in a fire, it's completely devastating. You think it's not going to affect you. You think you're not attached to belongings. You lose them all in a fire or a flood or something. You start to see how attached you are to things. Yeah, so the thing is, the fires are a big cleansing. They're massive, and I I feel like we do need to pray for the earth, and we do need to be with her. We need to understand what's happening internally is happening externally as well. And you know, things can look so dire, and yet new life comes from that. It's a clearing of the old. So, you know, if you can't relate to that about natural disasters, or, you know, where the earth is at and all the rest of it, just look at it for yourself. If you have a dream about fire, you know, often that's a massive transition time in your life, and you will be set up for new growth. I take this as another positive messages that from the ashes we rise. A new growth is possible. Now, Scold, I really like this because I was thinking of this and then she came out. Scold is about we will start connecting more and more with these flashes of possible futures, possible future outcomes. We aren't being left alone in all this shit. You know, the gods and the goddesses, spirit are there to guide us and to give us, you know, the little signs and synchronicities. We've had serendipity turn up a lot. So, spirit is saying once again, they're in direct communication with us. We are developing conscious contact to spirit, each and every one of us. We're open to it. And we will be given, you know, the insights. We will be given the intuition. We will see things before they unfold, just to help us to stay on track, to stay positive, and keep building that vision of the future, which is good for all of us, and to keep striving forward. And I just feel like it's another message of hope. You know, don't let go of hope. And trust when you see something psychically or you feel it in your body, know it's true. We're moving more and more away from the evolutionary tool of the mind into the soul's communication with us, to the intuition, the clear knowing, the clear seeing, the clear feeling, that our psychic senses and our immaterial senses, our non-physical senses, and our non-physical life is coming to the fore. If you're interested in all the ascension stuff, talking about 4-dimensional ascension, 5-dimensional ascension, I was listening to Matt Kahn. You know, Hay House Radio is no longer. So I've been listening to as many last shows as I can. And Matt Kahn was talking about ascension, and I loved his message about it, saying, you know, everything that is happening, the past, the present, the future, it's all inside of us. And it's all in the now, and we have access to it now. And he was talking about the 5th dimension isn't somewhere that we go, it's somewhere that already is. And that's my experience of it, and that's what I've seen. So Scold, leading us into our vision of the future, a wonderful one. I really love this. And I want to just quickly read what it says in the guidebook from this. I can grab a hold of it. So can you see they've got the 4 seasons, and when I pulled out this card, what I got from it was just as, you know, winter ends, we know spring is coming. So I feel like it's trust the changes, trust that life is cyclical. You know, nothing is ever going to stay the same, and the seasons follow each other. The sun keeps rising. You know, night follows day, and we need to trust that we are in the cycles of change and know that all is well. All right. Assurance. It says, remain steady and be assured you are doing exactly what you are supposed to do. You might be seeing small signs that things, situations, and desires are just beginning to fall into place. Your focus and skills are intact. You will feel motivated in work areas and therefore make good inroads in your usual work. New ways of dealing with things will occur to you. Fresh perspectives will appear. And as a result, your life will move towards harmony and balance. Trust yourself. You have everything you need. Oh, it's a beautiful note to end our reading on. Okay, so I'm sending you so many blessings for the week. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you for liking, subscribing, commenting. I always reply if I get a comment. And for staying in touch. See you.